including the next game up for the Rockvale Rockets, and that's with the Oakland Patriots. But we're going to talk about last night's game, which was a 21-14 win over the Siegel Stars. James Counce joins us this morning. Coach, congrats on the region win last night.
Well, thank you, sir.
It was a heck of a game. It came down to the very last second, didn't it?
It did. It's kind of back and forth. We kind of got up, and Siegel did a great job of fighting back, and it came down right to the last minute right there, and we lucky enough to get them stopped there on fourth down, and that's kind of something that we've been looking for is, even though we still hadn't played our best game, and just finding a way to win, that's big for where our kids are right now and our culture, developing that, and very proud of them for being able to do that. But yeah, good game, and Coach Renshaw does a great job, and hats off to them, of staying after it and finding a way to give themselves a chance, and we were just a little more fortunate than they were.
You were up 21-0, if I'm correct in remembering the scores from last night.
Yes, sir.
Then Siegel scores, and then they score again, and they've got the ball and coming down the field in fourth quarter. And sometimes maybe the mentality in the past has been, well, here they come. There's no way to stop this train. That's part of that culture shift that you've been working on, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And we've had some moments throughout the year so far that we've shown some of that, and we've come back in games and we've tied them up, and but we hadn't been able to get over the hump, and I think that just shows our kids, kind of where our growth is, and leading into each week, knowing that there's going to be ups and downs in a game, and being able to have the mental focus and maturity to handle that situation. I think our guys are getting settled in on that.
I was just sitting here thinking, we talk to the coaches every Saturday morning, and every time that somebody plays you guys, I always hear them say, man, that number 3 he is the man. He's a beast, and they're talking about RC, of course. He has really been a shot in the arm for you guys.
He sure has. He's a very competitive young man, and he's extremely athletic. And he's I think we're just now starting to get a little bit of togetherness or continuity between each other. As far as Hamby and him, and learning our stuff, but no, he's a we played him last night. We played him on defense too. Play corner, so he punts, he can kick. He can play quarterback. He can throw the football. He's just an all-around, he's good athlete and can do a lot of different things. But, I think the best is still yet to come, just because of some of the things. I think we left some things out there. I still feel like that. And so, knowing that, I hope that, as we get through the year here, hopefully here, we'll start playing, our best football, and I still don't think we have. We have played really good at times, but we hadn't played consistent enough yet, or to where I think we can be.
Well, we want to highlight R.C. Chia as our SRM Concrete solid performer. Last night, 8 receptions for 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. You mentioned he played on defense. Coach, he punted for you, had almost a 50-yard average on punts. And, you recognize as a coach when you've got an athlete like that, you want him on the field just about every snap. And it's hard to do, to be out there, but he's out there in all 3 phases of the game for you.
Yeah, ran a fake punt last night and got that converted. The one thing that they had a run in the second half there, that would have put them, that would have tied it. And he hustles across the field and gets down there and gets the kid knocked out of bounds. Just a hustle play, selfless, and wanting to do everything he can for the football team. But that kind of tells you about what kind of kid he is.
Yeah. Rockville's James Counce with us, and recognizing R.C. Chia as our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. You brought up Jonathan Hamby a second ago. Passed for 185 yards, 15 of 24, had 3 touchdown passes. And, you know, he seems to be catching his stride, getting better and better, more confident, settling in. I mean, there aren't a lot of people that want to play Rockvale, especially now that he seemed to catch fire.
Yeah, you know, I think that's part of the the guys learning each other and being able to, you know, he's a little banged up right now, and just which shows the toughness of this kid, and you know, so he's working through that. So, you know, he hadn't been at his best, and so, you know, we feel like, you know, there's still the best is yet to come, but he's solid. He's a competitor. You know, he's a very smart young man, makes good decisions, and you know, he's trying to get over this little issue that he has, but you know, he'll get there, and he's tough as nails. You know, he got hit last night and it bothered him, but you know, he pushed through and was able to finish, and you know, that's just going to be something that we're going to have to deal with, but eventually he'll get over it, we hope.
A lot of people this time of the year, Coach, after 6 games, you've got dings and dents, and you know, it takes a toughness to play this game of football. I don't care what position you play. It
does, you know, and if you play the way we want to play, and that's being physical, you're going to have things. You know, you're not going to be your best after the first game of the year. You know, you're not going to feel your best, and there's going to be things you have to work through. You know, and there's a difference between something that's kind of banged up and an injury. You know, that's some things that we have had to learn, and you know, guys are getting tougher with that, and you know, but now if you're going to be physical and play in this league, you're going to have things like that you've got to be mentally tough enough to work through.
Well, to hold a pretty good offense in Siegel to just 14 points, it takes a lot of effort. We had one critical turnover in the game, and that was Jeremiah Chandler's 45-yard interception return.
You know, that was a big part of the, you know, moment there. You know, kind of where we stubbed our toe offensively. He returned it down. We got a chance to, you know, kind of put this thing away, and we got to finish. You know, we got to take that next step, take care of the football, do the little things that we talk about. But our defense has played really well all year, and you know, at times offensively we've kind of left them out there a little bit too long. You know, and that happens. But you know, like I said, I think that you know, we're coming together more as a team and learning each other, and you know, both sides of football. Hopefully, here pretty soon, we're going to put us a game together and play to our capabilities. But our defense staff and our defensive players, you know, our guys up front, or they're playing more physical. You know, the guys in the secondary are getting more comfortable with each other and making adjustments and checks, and you know, everybody getting on the same page. And, you know, that's a big part of it, is the communication and what you've worked that week, and being able, in a quick situation there, be able to communicate that and everybody operate together. And they've done a good job of doing that with some young kids, you know. So, you know, we're excited about that.
Coach Counce, speaking of short week this week, traveling to Oakland, and if you wanted a measuring stick, you got one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's you know, we're gonna get ready to play. You know, like I said, we don't feel like that we've played our best game or ball yet, and you know, we're gonna go over there and see what we can get done, and you know, try to hang around, and you never know. You know, that's why you play the game. But now we're excited for the opportunity, you know, kind of want to go over and get, you know, kind of see where we stand, you know, and you know, Coach Creasy and those guys do a great job, and you know, they've been getting after people, and we kind of want to see where we measure up, and go over and see how it comes out. We're excited about it.
Yeah. Well, that's on Thursday night, and then we've got fall break the following week. Just kind of tell you here on the air, we typically do the Saturday coaches show on the week after that game. The following week, got a little break for ourselves and for the coaches and all that kind of thing. But we'll hopefully talk to you next Saturday morning or somebody there and talk about Rockvale football, and good luck against the Oakland Patriots on the road on Thursday night, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. James Counce, the head coach of the Rockvale Rockets, joining us here, and Danny Brewer is going to take over and take us the rest of the way with Siegel, Eagleville, and then MTCS Cougar Corner as the Coaches Show rolls along here on a Saturday morning. This portion brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete.